All right, people. Today we're here with the full fight main card breakdown for this week's UFC Seattle card, Adesanya versus Pyfer. Let's get straight into it without any further ado. So the first fight of the main card is T-Rex against Kyle Nelson. Okay, we all know T-Rex. He's got the pace. He's got the power. I believe he's going to impose his will and pace on Kyle Nelson for the first round. But the thing with T-Rex is, I feel like he's one of the most inconsistent fighters ever. Like his cardio's just not there. I feel he'll be the most explosive in round one. He'll probably look for any submission attempts he can get. He'll probably even look for a knockout. But Kyle Nelson, he's got the experience. He's a veteran. He's fought the best. I feel he weathers the storm of T-Rex in round one and later grinds a decision in the later rounds. So my pick for this fight is Kyle Nelson by decision. I'm going to go with the underdog pick to start us off. Okay, so the next fight we got is Mansoor Abdul Malik versus Yusri Belgarawi. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Belgarawi. So yeah, Mansoor Abdul Malik, we already know he's a 28-year-old middleweight prospect. He's a D1 wrestler and he's got hands too. He's got some pretty fast and slick hands. But Yusri Belgarawi, on the other hand, Yusri Belgarawi was a former glory kickboxer. He's shared the ring with the likes of Israel Adesanya and he's beaten Alex Pereira before. Yes, I said he's beaten Alex Pereira in kickboxing before. So you already know his kickboxing fundamentals are going to be elite level. But when Yusri Belgarawi was coming up through the Contender Series, I saw some defensive wrestling holes in his game. But now, since his last fight, he's transitioned into Teixeira MMA and fitness, and now he's training with Alex Pereira and Glover Teixeira, which has led to him focusing on his grappling a bit more, which we evidently saw in his last fight when he dismantled Azama Bekoev. This fight is almost a near pick him, but how I believe this fight goes is Mansoor Abdul Malik probably tries to scrap with Belgarawi a little. I don't think he finds the success while standing up. I think he decides to shoot a few takedowns, which Yusri should probably defend, and I believe he gets the knockout in late round two or early round three. So that's going to be my pick, Yusri Belgarawi by knockout in round two, in late round two or early round three. All right, the next fight that we got is, according to my opinion, a potential fight of the night candidate. We've got Juicy J, Julian Rosa against Larian Douglas. This is going to be a striking showcase. Julian Rosa is ranked number 19 at featherweight. He's sitting at a moderate underdog right now at plus minus 240. This guy's a volume striker. He's got pure hands, he's got cardio for days, and he's got the top level experience. At 36, he's been around the block and he knows how to easily pace a fight. But on the other hand, we've got Larian Douglas. He's 13-6, unranked, a new up-and-coming prospect. Here's how I see this fight goes. Larian Douglas has got some pretty strong hands. You know, there's always the possibility of a knockout. So to avoid that, Julian has to make this dirty. He has to close in the distance. He wants to stand and bang, but Douglas can still pick him apart. Most of the people I know have predicted this fight to be a round one or round two knockout for Douglas, but I do not think he finishes Julian Rosa. I believe Julian Rosa makes this dirty. He gets in those grabs, lands those body shots, and I think Larian Douglas lands enough that he rocks him a couple of times and gets the decision win. This is going to be a good fight, definitely. Okay, so the next fight we got in our hands is Michael Maverick Chiesa versus Nico Hybrid Price. All right, Michael Chiesa, ranked number 20, is 19-7, is a heavy favorite coming into this fight. Chiesa is one of the best grapplers out there. He's just a submission machine, and he's been around the block. He's fought at the highest level, knows how to control his fights in the mat. On the other hand, Nico Price is coming off as a plus 375 underdog. And the key to understanding the game plan of Nico Price would be that Nico has to keep this fight standing because that is the only path of victory for Nico. The only way I see Nico wins this if somehow he defends all of Michael's takedowns and submission attempts and he pieces Michael on the feet because that's his only path to victory. But I still feel Michael is too good of a grappler for him. So my pick for this fight is Michael Chiesa to win by submission in late round two. So we're on to the co-main event now. It's Alexa Pretty Feet Grasso versus Macy Barber. Now, Alexa Grasso is ranked number 5, coming off of 2 losses and a draw. Basically, she's in a spot where she needs a bounce back fight and she needs to prove that she's still a top fighter. She has the championship experience. She knows how to use her skills. She knows how to apply pressure on her opponents and adjust positioning in the clinch. She has all the tools to come out on top on this matchup. But I feel the divisions just moved past her and she just doesn't have that anymore. Macy Barber, she's 15-0, undefeated, sitting at number 6, and she's hungry. Macy has a strong karate base. She's I believe, a second degree black belt in karate. She's way accurate with her punches and her kicks are on point. You know she's gonna apply all the pressure on Grasso. And the thing is, Macy gets better as the rounds go on. So she's not gonna allow Alexa to make any adjustments in the further rounds. And I believe Macy comes out on top in this. So my pick for this fight is gonna be Macy Barber by decision. I believe Grasso's got the skill and experience, but she just doesn't have it anymore, and the division's just moving past her. And I believe Macy is a future champion. So now, finally, we're on to the main event, and the main event is Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer. Now, I believe this fight is one of those y'all must have forgot fights for Izzy, because Izzy is going to show levels in this fight. Yeah, we can make a solid argument that Izzy is kind of washed, that he's lost 4 fights out of his last 5, but I still believe Izzy is going to show levels in this fight. Joe Pyfer, as good as he is, I don't think he has anything for Izzy. The only way Joe Pyfer that I can see wins this is through that overhand, and I believe Izzy has the tools to avoid it. So how I believe this fight goes is round 1 is where Joe Pyfer is going to be the most dangerous, and we all know Joe Pyfer doesn't have the best fight IQ, and his cardio is also questionable. So I believe Izzy survives round 1. He picks up the pace in round 2 and 3 and finds a knockout in late round 4. That's going to be my pick for the main event. Izzy by KO, I'd say round 4 or even round 5. Let's go. Let's see Izzy back in the win column.